Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We're continuing looking at how to use trig to find stuff. Yesterday we were looking at how to find missing lengths, I'm sorry, given a length and an angle. Today we're going to look at if we have two lengths, how can we use that to find an angle? So we're going to quickly review the different trig ratios. First off, the sine ratio, SOH, which is, can't win with this thing. Isn't it great? You're working from home and you still have to deal with my technological issues. Anyways, so based on this triangle, if we're looking at angle A, then the opposite is BC and the hypotenuse is AB. Here we're looking at the cosine ratio, which is the adjacent divided by hypotenuse, right? Adjacent and hypotenuse. Or in the case of this triangle, sorry, we're dealing with angle B, AB. Notice it's the same ratio, right? BC divided by AB for both of them. But because we switched which angle we're looking at and which ratio we're looking at, it actually ends up being the same ratio. This is why naming triangles becomes so important. Identify the sides for TOA. TOA is opposite over adjacent. In this case, assuming we're using B, that's AC over BC. How do we know? Let's do a quick review of how do we know which trig ratio to choose. If I'm given angle A, I'm given this side, the BC, which is the opposite, and I'm being asked to find the adjacent, I'm dealing with tan. In this case, I'm being given the adjacent and the hypotenuse, cos. This time I'm being given I'm looking for the opposite. I have the hypotenuse. What is that? That's sine. Yes, sine. All right. For every trig ratio, there is an inverse ratio. So remember I said that in proportional triangles, the ratio, taking the opposite and divided by the adjacent for tangent, say, was the same in every triangle with the same angle. Well, it turns out that someone's actually gone through and calculated every one of those and figured out what angle it belongs to. And if you use the inverse ratio, then you can solve for it, or then you can figure out which angle it is that you had. And if you look on your calculator, you're going to see that each of sine, cosine, and tangent is going to have one of these little guys over top of it. Sine of inverse 1, cos of inverse 1, tangent, -1. And that is how you turn a bunch of numbers into an angle. Now, you're going to have to use your second or mode key or shift or whatever it is on your calculator. What I've come to learn that a lot of your calculators are color-coded. So if you look at the sign, above it is going to be sine with the -1 and it might be in yellow. So find the shift or the mode button, whichever one's in yellow, and you're going to hit that. I would love to help you with this, but unfortunately, you're on your own because you're all at home. Now, calculators can be a pain in the butt. Okay, some of your calculators are going to want you to put in decimal 6667 and then shift sign. Some of them are going to want shift sign decimal 6667. I don't know. I have a bunch of calculators at home, and some of them do it one way, some of them do it the other. You just have to know your calculator. This is why I always tell you, whatever calculator you're going to use on the test, That's the calculator you should be using in your homework so that you know how to use it when the test time comes. I never stop you from using your cell phones, but I do say it's a bad habit because on the test, you're going to lose time trying to figure out how to use your calculator when you should already know. So this is just making sure. Notice that we're working to 4 decimal places here. And for everything we are doing, I expect you to be in degrees. So we looked at that yesterday. Whatever. We looked at the other day. There are different modes your calculator could be in. Before you finish high school, you'll be introduced to another one of them, but there are 3. It's got to be in degrees, or this stuff won't work. Now, I do want you to do this stuff, okay? Hopefully your calculator's already working, but there's something I want to point out at the end of all this. So, practice putting this into your calculator. So we'll come back to the not possible in just a second. Several things I want you to notice. When you're solving for the angle, there is no trig ratio there. We've gone from being cos B to just plain B. Next thing I want you to notice.